Okay, so please make a note of the contents of chapter 1. The unit name, give heading as unit name, fundamentals of computers and structure of a C program. So this is syllabus, the units, subunits under this fundamental of computers and structure of C program. So before starting with syllabus, we should know what are the textbook and reference book we should have to learn this concept. Okay, the concept related with problem solving for, programming for problem solving. Okay, so the very first textbook, Programming in ANSYS C by Balguru Swami of Tata McGraw-Hill Publications. Okay, this is one of the famous book, and other very famous book is Let Us See by Yashwant Kanetkar. Okay, Yashwant Kanetkar is the author of Let Us See book by BPB Publications. Okay, if you have any one book out of these two, you will get very easy to understand the concept related in programming for problem solving. Okay, so have you noted this? Hello? Have you noted this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will start with fundamentals of computers and a structure of a C program. So can you tell me what do you know about computers? Yes, can you tell me what do you know about computers? Or what we'll do, we'll start with basic introductory part. Okay, so these are what the computer system and its component, right? At least have you seen this computer system?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Okay. So now I have listed out some of the names here at the bottom, like CPU, headset, monitor, CD, DVDs, mouse, scanner, printer, speaker, keyboard. Okay. So take 1 or 2 minutes, and I wish to label it here so this is the box. So what it called it as, this is again one box. What should I name for it? Again, it has one device. So what should I call for that device? Okay. So take 1 or 2 minute pause here. Just try to recall the names of all those components, and then we will place the name one by one into the respective boxes. Okay. Okay, so are you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
good. Now tell me, what is the name of this box?
CPU.
CPU. CPU.
Okay, good. So can you tell me the full form of CPU? So I have attached here as CPU. Yes,
Central processing unit.
good. Central Processing Unit. Okay. So in the next slides, we will go through it. What is that? What does it? What are the functions of CPU and all? Okay. Now, tell me what is the name of this box?
Monitor.
Monitor.
Good, monitor. So I label it here as monitor. Okay. Then next, I will go to this part.
CD.
CD.
Yes,
DVD.
CDs or DVDs. Okay. Yes. Then this,
Scanner.
Scanner.
correct, scanner. Okay, now this one,
Printer.
Printer.
printer, correct. Then this one,
Mouse.
mouse. So mouse are there in two different part. One is wired and other is wireless. Okay. So this is wireless mouse. This one,
Keyboard.
Keyboard.
keyboard. Okay. Okay, this one,
Speaker.
speaker. Okay, I will move this to speaker. And last one remaining as headset. Okay, currently I'm using it. Right. Now, if you check, these are what all the components or the devices together to form as a computer system. Okay, not necessary all the time. I should connect with the printer. It is not necessary every time I should connect with the scanner to the system. Okay, but like there are some basic which are required to perform certain operation like keyboard, mouse, monitor, and this CPU. Okay, these are peripherals, headset, then CD, DVD, scanner, printer, speaker. These are all peripherals. It can be used for like giving inputs to the system or getting output. Barabar. So this is what like a computer system. Now, can anybody define what is a computer? Yes. Can anybody try to define what is computer system? Yes.
Combination of
Yes, combination of.
combination of these
Okay, combination of components.
It is an electronic
yes.
It is
store.
an. Yes, yes. I'm not getting your voice clearly. Can you please repeat?
It is an electronic machine that can store and find arrangement of information, calculation amounts, and control other machines.
Okay. To control other machine, that means I need to connect this system with some other system again. Okay, by some of the network. Right, but okay, this is again a broad definition. It includes a computer in a network. Okay, so what we are looking for, what is exact this single standalone computer system?
Computer system is memory storage device input or output.
Okay, so in simple way, we can define computer system, which is integrated form of different components like as shown here, which works together to give a desirable result in a very simple way, right? So if you connect those different components together to perform certain tasks, so we called it as a computer system. And it has different components like we have seen printer, scanner. So each one is used for a specific purpose. Printer is used for displaying output or instead of displaying, it took the print of the output. Whatever the things we required, it get in the form of output. Scanner, it is used for taking the input from outsiders. Barabar. Okay, so these are the different purposes of all those devices. Okay, so however they generate a common result as per our or the as per like the user's requirement. Okay, now what do you understand by input unit? Yes, the unit which is used for entering the data and programs into the computer system through user. Okay, so this part we called it as a input unit. when we are taking some data or we are entering some data or the programs from user to the system. Okay, so that part we called it as a input unit. Now, what is storage unit? The storage unit is used for storing the data and its related programs, or you can say the instruction in the memory. Okay, this is the second point. Third point, output unit. So what is the output unit? The output unit, which is used for storing the result as the output of the computer system where the program is processed. Okay, so this part we called it as a output unit. Now we have one more as processing. Okay, so we will go to this part, but in general, I think you have understood the computer system. Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we will move to next slide. Just a minute, I will move to next slide. Okay, block diagram. I wish you can note this block diagram. Okay. Yes, have you noted the diagram?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
if you look at the block diagram, it is started from like left to right. We have program or a data, right? So this is what the input phase. Okay, so now we know what are the input units are there. So just now we have seen the diagram. I will move back to previous slide. Okay, so out of these, what are the input units are there? Can you tell me, can you differentiate between this? What are the input and what are the output? So I will first take input devices. So what are the input devices?
Keyboard,
Mouse.
Correct.
Keyboard.
Keyboard, mouse,
scanner,
Scanner.
Yes. Any other remaining?
CD.
DVD.
DVD.
Okay. Headset. So for giving a voice instructions. Keyboard is there for like typing instruction through command prompt and other type. Mouse is acting as input device by click options. Okay, as I click here, that means I give the input is given to show this slide. Now, if I click on this slide, so the input is given as to display this slide. Then what a scanner? Scanner is there for scanning the documents or scanning the images, photos, and those images are again stored into the CPU. Okay, so can you list out the output devices?
CPU, speaker.
Speaker, printer,
Printer,
Monitor.
speaker, monitor, and again CDs or DVDs. Okay,
Uh.
you can read the data from CDs or DVDs, and you can write a data on CDs and DVDs again. So this CD and DVD are acting as multi-purpose. Yes. Okay, so the program or the data is now interacting with the system through the input units. So just now we have seen what are the input units. See, in the input unit, the unit is used for entering the data or the programs into the computer system through some of the user process, like some of these devices. Now, this data is moved into the next storage. If you check, if you read these notations, dotted line, then dark line. Okay, dark line, that means what? Flow of instructions, solid lines. How the data is flow. Once the input is given, it go to the storage device or storage units. So what storage unit does? it is used for storing the data and the instruction before or after the processing. Okay. Now, who is going to process on the data? So if you check this, you can say the arrow, the control unit plus arithmetic unit. The complete box, we called it as a central processing unit, which is nothing but your CPU. Okay. In the CPU, we have this central processing unit, a chip, and the chip is again divided into two parts. One is for control unit and other is for arithmetic unit. So what is the purpose of this control unit? Yes. What is the purpose of this control unit? Okay. Before this, we will go to the component one by one. So where we are, like the input is given, input is stored into the storage device, and it like input is stored before processing the data and again after processing the data. After that, if I required this processed data as a part of output, it can be displayed either on either with this output devices in the form of a monitor or maybe in the form of CDs, DVDs, or you can take it as a printer, print. Okay. So the next is what? After storage, we have output unit. The output unit which used to display the stored results. Okay. The result, I'm saying result because after processing the data, we got the result. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. So this is how the basic understanding of a diagram. Now the next is the components. So we have listed out like input component, we have storage device, then CPU, then output. So input unit we discussed, storage we discussed, and output unit is also we discussed. Now what about this CPU? CPU is nothing but our processing unit. Okay. Now it has again two components. What are those two components? One is arithmetic logic unit and other is control unit. So what do you understand by the word arithmetic logic unit? Yes,
Calculation part.
correct. All kind of calculations, like all kind, that means the comparison or addition, subtraction, like bitwise operators are there. Then your equality operators, okay, unary operators, binary operators, okay, whatever the comparison or you can say the calculation part is there, this arithmetic logic unit is taking care of all those calculation. See, for making such calculation, we have to provide a set of instruction. Okay, if we don't, let's say I have given the input through keyboard as 2 and 4, but I have not given instruction to make addition or to make subtraction or to make multiplication or division or any other mathematical calculation. So the system will not perform any operation, simply it will store the value 2 and 4 as it is, unless and until if I don't give any instruction to the system through input devices, the system will not work on those values. Okay, simply it will be stored into the memory. Okay, so as per the instructions provided by the user, the arithmetic logical unit carried out the task. It performs the arithmetic functions like as we discussed addition. That means it depends on the user. So if I given the instruction to make addition, it will perform the addition. If I given the instruction of subtraction, it will go for the subtraction and other like the calculation part. Also, it will go for the logical operator. Logical in the sense like there are certain conditions, and that means if one condition is true, then go for the next condition as well. Or if either or, like if one is failed, whether other is correct or wrong. So like this we call it as a logical operation, and or not nor. Okay, so maybe you have gone through this logical operators in the basic electrical or electronics. Okay, or maybe you will face in course of duration. Okay, so also there are comparison operators like less than equal to, or greater than equal to, or equal to, or simply greater than, or simply less than. Okay, so can you tell me what is the difference between less than and less than equal to? Is there any difference between less than and less than equal to?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
so can you tell me what is the difference? See, I will give one example here. Okay, just a minute. I will try to. Okay, we are looking for here, so I will make note here. 3 is less than 4. Okay, and okay. Just a minute. I will make it more simplified. See, this is what the salary amount 30,000. Is it visible on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 30,000 less than salary. 30,000 less than or equal to salary. So what I want to find out here, if I want to find out the employee whose salary is less than 30,000. Okay, so see, again, understand my statement. I want to find out the, sorry, I want to find out the employee whose salary is less than 30,000. So which one should I take? Whether I should go with this part or whether I should go with this part?
दोन्हीपैकी कोणतं?
Yes, any other guesses?
First.
Any other? See, in 2 person, I have 2 different opinions. So what about, so we'll go for last opinion poll. Okay, to make it a final decision. Yes. So whether I should go with the first one or the second one? Anyone?
सर लेस दॅन नसलच, ग्रेटर
Yes.
दॅन आहे दोन्हीकडे पण. सॅलरी इज ग्रेटर दॅन 30,000.
Yes. Okay, I will make it reverse. Good observation. Okay. So our problem statement remains same. Now, again, I will repeat. I want to find out the employee name or the employee whose salary is less than 30,000. Now,
First.
First.
yes.
First.
Those who are saying with this first is correct. Now, what happens with the second? See, in the second part, it also includes the salary 30,000. Okay, but what is my question? My question is, I want to find out the employee whose salary is less than 30,000. Less than 30,000, that means what? If my salary is like 2,999, okay, that means 2,900, sorry, 29,999. If this is thing, again it is valid. But if my salary is 30,000, here the equality sign, that means it also includes the 30,000, which is not part of my question, right? I have strictly mentioned the salary amount should be less than 30,000. Okay. So this is what the difference is between the operators, less than and less than equal to. When we take less than equal to or greater than equal to, that means it also includes the boundary condition. But what I want the data within this boundary. Okay, I don't want this boundary, data on the boundary. What I want, the data inside the boundary. If I said less than equal to or greater than equal to, at that time, the boundary conditions are also taking into the consideration. Okay, so this is the part of what arithmetic logical unit. It is going to taken care of as per the instructions of the user. Okay. So okay, so again, now what about control unit? Yes. The name itself says the controlling of all operations like the input or the processing as carried out by ALU, that means arithmetic logical unit, or any other like controlling of the system unit. It also takes care the step-by-step processing of set of instructions which are mentioned in the program. Okay, mentioned in the user program. So this is the task of central processing unit. Now, have you understood about this processing?
Yes, sir.
Processing, that means here CPU, your control unit, as well as the arithmetic logical unit. Now, next point here is the memory. This memory is again divided into two different parts. One is the primary memory and other is secondary memory. So can anybody tell what is primary memory and what is secondary memory?
प्रायमरी मेमरी म्हणजे त्या कम्प्युटरची स्वतःची आणि सेकंडरी म्हणजे आपण स्वतः बाहेरून जोडतो.
Okay, so in secondary memory, you are correct. Also primary memory, you are correct. See, in the secondary memory, not from the user end only. So it has its own hard disk as a part of secondary memory. Okay. And mostly the hard disk is considered as a secondary memory and primary is nothing but your RAM. Okay. So RAM, random access memory. Okay. So what do you understand with random access memory? See, the primary memory has again its two types. One is RAM and other is ROM. Sorry. I told you the full form of RAM, random access memory. What about ROM?
Read-only memory.
Good, correct. So what is difference again in RAM and ROM? In the RAM, which is the basic unit in a computer system for the memory, and in RAM again, it plays the operating system, different application programs which are installed on your system, and it stores the data temporarily. Okay, it is not going to store the data permanently on the system, permanently on the RAM. Okay, whatever the operations you are currently doing, as like I am presenting this PPT. Now the instance is there in the RAM. The instance of this PPT is there in the RAM. Whatever the changes just now I have made in the processing below the arithmetic logical unit. So it is stored temporarily on the RAM. When I make it adds save. When I click here on the save button, so it will move from RAM to permanent storage, or you call it as a secondary storage device. Okay. So this is what temporary RAM is, what a temporary memory. Also, we called it as a volatile because if I have made some changes in my PPT, and let's say if there is a failure occur, like electricity failure, that means my system gets shut down completely. When it resumes its operation, when the power failure resumes again, that means now it's working fine, and I start again the system, right? So I cannot have those changes because those changes are not saved into the memory. These are what temporarily, what the things I'm doing here. If I make some changes, let's say okay, if I made these changes, okay, and if now power gets off, now this is, unless and until if I click here on the save button, it will not be saved permanently. Okay, whatever the changes I have made it, okay, the changes I made, if there is a failure occur and if the system resume again, I will not find this here. It will be revert to the previous saved state. म्हणजे मागची जी तुमची सेव्ह कंडिशन असेल त्या फाईलची, प्रिव्हियसली सेव्ह पोझिशन, और यू कॅन से द कंटेंट्स, ते तुम्हाला परत रिफ्लेक्ट होतील. ओके, सो दिस इज व्हॉट हॅपनिंग विथ द रॅम, because it has a very less memory, and whatever the data stores here in the RAM is in the form of temporary. Also, that is why it called it as a volatile memory, VOLATILE, volatile memory. Okay, now what about ROM, read only memory? ROM is what? Again, take an example, a memory where we can only do read operations, reading the content, which are not lost even the computer may face with any of the failure. Now, what are the failure conditions with the computer? The system may get crash, due to electricity, like there is a power failure. If your system is in the network, so if network failure may occur between sharing the data from one system to other system, whatever the data we called it as a packet, that packet may get lost during like transfer from one system to the other system through the network. So due to some of the attacks or due to failure of the switch which connect two different systems together. Okay, so these are different kind of failure, but in a simple case we'll take here as the power failure to have understanding of this. Okay, so typically contains the manufacturer instructions. So this ROM, read only memory. So random access memory and ROM is read only memory. Okay, so for this there are instructions from the manufacturer to hold those data if there is a power loss in between. Now this ROM stores the initial program, which called it as a bootstrap. Okay, when you start your system, okay, so you may find in the upper right corner of your monitor, booting is in process, or simply booting and 3 different dots. So that means it fetching the details of your system to start that system. Okay, so through read only memory. Okay, now this is about primary memory. Now we will talk about secondary memory. Where it is? Yes. So secondary memory, mainly we are looking for the hard disk to store the data. Now, why is the necessary of this secondary memory? As the data may be saved here in RAM as well as on ROM. But what is the necessity of this secondary memory. See, on both the memory space, first constraint is what? The memory space is very less. The second, the data is temporarily stored in RAM and the ROM. But this is not case with the secondary memory. Okay, here the data is stored permanently on the system. Okay, this is not as a volatile. RAM is what? A volatile. This we call it as a non-volatile. But still, there are chances for getting a data. If the system get crash or if your hard disk get crash, the data may get erased from the system, or due to any virus, the data may get erased from the system. So for this to recovery, there are certain recovery mechanisms. Okay, so we'll not go into the details, but there are certain applications through which we can retrieve our data, and there is other mechanism to have one copy of a replica. Okay, now what do you understand by replica? Replica म्हणजे काय? A mirror image. See, these things are maintaining in the large IT organization as like TCS and other Infosys or any IT organization. They always keep one backup copy of a data. See, day to day, what the things they have implemented day to day on their servers, they are maintaining the copy of day to day work on some or the other system. So if the data from one system get failed or get crashed, it can be retrieved through other backup system. Okay. Now what do you understand by CD and DVD? So can you tell me the full form of CD?
Compact disc.
Correct, compact disc. And what do you, what is the full form of digital video, sorry, DVD? I told you the full form. Yes. What is the
Digital
full, digital
versatile disk.
video disc? Digital video disc. Okay, again, it is similar to your hard disk, both CDs and DVDs, but again, it has a limited space. CD can store the data about, I guess, 700 MB, and DVD maybe into GBs, gigabytes. Okay, so these are what MB and GB. These are what the data units. Like it starts with bit, then KB, kilobytes, then megabytes, that is what your MB, then gigabytes, GB. Okay, then TB is there, terabytes, petabytes. Okay, maybe in next lecture I will tell you like how much KB is equal to how much MB. Okay, and the relation between KB, MB, MB, GB, G. Okay, so that is how I will tell you in the next lecture with one slide, so that it will be informative for you as well. Okay, so this is about, I will check the time. Okay, so this is about computer introductory part of computer. So the one point is remain computer software. Okay, so this computer software point will look into the next lecture.